and just help yourselves and help others pursue this SDG. So Kizran?
Yes, definitely. Everything was covered by Erica, but just to let you know that Go Week of Action is almost a 2-week. It's like a weekend to weekend event that is held by MUN Impact. And just to reiterate, you'll be having workshops, discussion forums with issue experts, direct action campaigns from another program called 100K Deeds, and you will get to get more knowledge and more resources sharing, and you also be able to take part in our very popular sandbox and dolphin pool. So these are basically just the events that will be held, and if you have registered for them, you will be taking part in them. And if you haven't yet registered for a few of the events, we highly encourage that you do so, because it is really fun to socialize with other people and to just expand your connections and to expand your social circle. And if you are interested in gaining more knowledge about MUN Impact, feel free to visit our website, or you can email us on our emails, which are also present and which will be present in the chat box really soon. And if you want to become part of the MUN Impact team, the MUN Impact whole MUN Impact community, where you can make loads and loads of friends, get loads and loads of experience, and work for leadership positions for your college applications, make sure that you sign up on our website. That will also be shared in the chat box. So now we do not want to waste much time. So if you already know what the Go Week of Action is, does anyone have any questions before we move on to the the keynote speaker we have? If you do not feel comfortable putting it, saying it out loud, you may put it in the chat box. That's perfectly fine. And just to quickly tell you, as the Goal Week of Action December round is being held over SDG 10, which is reduced inequalities, we are also having a special focus on SDG 10 target 10.2, which refers to by 2020 achieving and empowering and promoting the social, economic, and political inclusion of all, irrespective of age, sex, disability, race, ethnicity, origin, religion, or economic and other statuses. So if you feel that you need more information on that, make sure that you put that down in the chat box as well. And seeing that we do not have any questions, we will be now formally shifting over to our keynote speaker, Mr. Bilal. Sir, sir, you are free to take over.
Hello, everyone. My name is Muhammad Bilal Mirbadzai. I'm from Afghanistan. And I'm in national team of Afghanistan wheelchair basketball, and also I'm the first Afghan para skateboarder or sitting skateboarder. I'm involved with HILA, Hope for Education and Leadership in Afghanistan organization, and also I was working with the Free to Run international organization as finance officer. As you may all, some of you know, my right leg is polio. When I was small, I got injection on my leg, and after that, my right leg became polio. When the Taliban take over all Afghanistan, fortunately, I was also able to escape from there with my wife and continue my new life in the United States. So all of us know like what is today. Let's go through what's written in books, and people are making promises. They say sustainable development goals 10 or ought to be better, say reducing inequality within and amongst countries. This is SDG calls for reducing inequalities in income, as well as those based on age, sex, disability, race, ethnicity, original religion, or economic or other status with a country. But let me tell you something. Is this really something you could see in development country like Afghanistan? It's very different. It will leave other parts and will only I will leave other parts and will only focus on economy and disability factors of this issue because I have done through this. In my country, children are born poor and some of them have special medical cases. And that's because when mothers are carrying babies in their belly, mothers don't have access to good hygiene and those medical cares that they are needed for a health birth. I would not say they are careless because when father is working as labor only earning 200 Fs or is equal to USD a day, how they manage to cover all the daily life expenses. I was born I was born in southern Afghanistan in a village called Lakan, thanks to my parents for taking good care of me for the first 6 months. But they had no clue what I will experience in my life forward. I'm very thankful for what I'm today, but I'm sharing my personal experience to tell you how lucky you are to be without a disability and born in development country, which have a better system for all the facts I have pointed before. My parents took me to the clinic when I was 6 months old to vaccinate me. Who knew? This vaccination will run the rest of my life. The responsible out there were not much experienced because most of them were trained from the villagers who study in madrasas, elementary religion education places. They were only trained on basic things and they even had no clue that it's not allowed to vaccinate babies when they have fever, but they have gone through. From that day, I became paralyzed and my one leg became polio, and this name became a part of my life that together we went through hard times, and polio was something that couldn't be treated easily or at all. Our economic situation was worse enough and it was hard enough for my parents to cover all the cost for the orthotic leg that I'm wearing. In school, it was hard to play with classmates because I wasn't able to run, to kick the ball, jump, and do all the things that my classmates were doing. So that were the things that pushed me to the margins and create a separate world for myself and think of news to deal with such cases. I will say there were always boundaries after childhood too. For example, I was not allowed to have a driving license, which is the dream of all youth. There are always a limitation to achieve my dream career. I'm not blaming people. Probably they were right and they were not aware of my abilities because they only saw my disability. Nobody is disabled. We have a different ability. Everything has a solution, and I have figured out those out. Since I have realized that thinking of myself as a disabled could marginalize me more and more, I took a couple steps to make a better world for myself and be a role model for others. I try to be more social and get in contact with people and force those and think the same as me. So I call it my network. I have studied hard and this paved the way to my goals. After completing my high school, I obtained my bachelor degree in business administration. Meanwhile, I have started doing different sports to make a healthy lifestyle. First, I have started with skateboarding, which was something new in Afghanistan, and I can say I was the first Afghan disabled skateboarder. Skateboarding was fun and increased my moral and confidence. After that, I heard about wheelchair basketball and I thought, why not give it to a try. I started wheelchair basketball in 2014. After 1 year, I was selected for the national wheelchair basketball team of Afghanistan and played for my country in international tournaments in Japan, Azerbaijan, Indonesia, Lebanon, and Thailand. Nowadays, I'm well known among those who were thinking I was disabled. They're proud and they are learning from my experience. The step I took. So don't feel ashamed of something you are given by Lord and cannot control it, because you don't know that one day it will be your most powerful factor to never give up, but moves on. Thank you so much for everyone for listening to.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bilal. It's really saddening to know that issues like these are continuously prevailing all around us, but it is people like them that the life is made much more difficult. Nonetheless, it is really inspiring to see how Mr. Bilal turned his weakness into his biggest strength and how he proudly owns the title as the first paraplegic skateboarder and an active Afghan basketballer. It touches my heart to know how strong he has built himself, and we hope that this encourages all of you to never give up and to know that you are not alone. And this is one of the many reasons why we encourage all of you here right now to help MEN Impact in working for its aim, that is achieving the SDGs before 2030. Now, Erica will be introducing another program of ours called 100K Deeds, and so that we can gain more knowledge on that as well.
So once again, Mr. Bilal, thank you for your inspiring testimony, and I hope that it inspires the rest of you to continue listening to our Global Week of Action and joining in with all the programs we have that you may be able to make a difference regarding SDG 10 and reducing the inequalities that people face, especially in regards to disabilities. Right, so next we're going to talk about our 100K Deeds actions, in which our teammate Haiti will be telling you more about the action items that you can take in order to further SDG 10, and I will be handing off to Haiti now.
Thank you so much, Erica. Let me quickly share my screen. Give me 1 minute. Sorry, can you see my screen?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, great. So I'll be presenting the 100K Deeds Challenge information session. So starting off, to talk a little bit more about MEN Impact, the 100K Deeds Challenge is an initiative run by MEN Impact, a nonprofit organization. MEN Impact is a global community that believes in the power of modeling United Nations to inform, inspire, and motivate its participants to action in support of the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, created by the United Nations. We have numerous student leadership teams focusing on the initiatives that MEN Impact runs to promote the SDGs, whether it be through Model United Nations programs or something like the 100K Deeds Challenge that promotes action for the SDGs. So what are the Sustainable Development Goals? If you're not already familiar with the SDGs, they are the blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. They address the global challenges we face, including poverty, inequality, climate change, environmental degradation, peace, and justice. The 17 SDGs are integrated, that is, they recognize that action in one area will affect outcomes in others. Each Sustainable Development Goal has numerous targets that are to be achieved by 2030, and the 17 goals attempt to improve every sphere of our world, and that's why it is so essential for all of us, including the youth, to learn about the SDGs and help achieve them to have a more sustainable future by 2030. Can you hear this?
Yes, it is audible.
Okay.
I'm joining in from India,
Nairobi, Kenya,
Nepal,
the Philippines,
Qatar,
Sri Lanka,
Turkmenistan,
the United Arab Emirates.
MUN Impact aims to inform, inspire, motivate students to take action through Model United Nations.
We, MUN Impact, are delighted to encourage you to take action for the SDGs by being a part of the 100K Deeds Challenge. Because each and every action counts.
Also, we create opportunities for students around the globe to come together.
And we aim to achieve these goals by developing new learning tools based on the SDGs.
In 2017, a brother-sister duo named Ambi and Bindu Subramaniam launched a pilot 10,000 Deeds campaign in India, in partnership with UNICEF to encourage young students to perform the deeds and serve the SDGs in their schools, families, and communities.
Now MUN Impact is building on this creative inspiration to expand the campaign to schools around the world by setting a goal of 100,000 deeds worldwide.
The 100K Deeds Challenge is for all young people aged between 2 and 22 years of schools, universities, and offices. Each one of us has the power to create a future we want and take lessons to articulate them in an even better manner.
All 17 of the SDGs seems like a massive task, but when each one of us take a step in the right direction, we can make a difference.
To help you get started, we have a wonderful brochure on the 100K Deeds website where you can gain a greater insight into what the 100K Deeds Challenge is. This will help you achieve the sustainable development goals in your community. Once you finish a deed, fill in the deed card with details about yourself and your deed to let us know about your good work.
So join the 100K Deeds Challenge because every deed counts.
لأن كل عمل له أهميته.
क्योंकि हर काम मायने रखता है.
ஏனென்றால் ஒவ்வொரு நல்ல செயலும் ஒரு நல்ல வித்தியாசத்தை ஏற்படுத்துகிறது.
Porque todas las acciones cuentan.
왜냐하면 모든 행동은 의미가 있기 때문이다.
Kwa sababu kila tendo linasaidia.
但一的他自
因为每个行动都很重要。
So, just to give a brief explanation of the history of our challenge. In 2017, SAPA, Subramaniam Academy of Performing Arts, launched a pilot 10K Deeds campaign in partnership with UNICEF. The campaign was kicked off by brother-sister singer duo Bindu and Ambi Subramaniam with a music video by the Tire Saddam Project. A select number of schools in Bangalore adopted the program, where students were given a pamphlet with examples of simple ways to serve the various SDGs, and students were given a deed card to fill out and return describing their deed and the relevant SDG. Now, the 100K Deeds Challenge is a youth-driven initiative run by MUN Impact, a nonprofit organization launched in 2017. It is managed by over 150 students from around the world, including over 50 student translators working to make this challenge accessible to all. The challenge was created to raise awareness of the Sustainable Development Goals for aspiring young people of schools, universities, or offices. We have collaborated with the Environmental Systems Research Institute to develop a global deeds tracker and dashboard where you can see your deeds appear with others on a global map. This map shows the regions we have tapped. We've also partnered with the world's largest lesson and voice. So why should you participate? There are so many reasons that you should participate in the 100K Deeds Challenge. It is such a great community, which is why I've joined the leadership team in the first place. We are a community of youth that want to make a difference and inspire others to do the same. If we want to leave a sustainable future for ourselves and future generations, little habits in our everyday lives are necessary. These small deeds will help get you on the right path to being part of this globalized action. Plus, through our global map, you'll be able to see all of the others who are doing these deeds alongside you across the globe. To me, it's pretty inspiring to know that there are people who might be thousands of miles away that are working towards a better future with you. So we have a few deeds that we have completed that we wanted to show you all. The first deed is supports SDG 3, good health and well-being. The description of the deed is that they delivered 45 kits filled with non-perishable goods, as well as other 45 COVID-19 protection kits to Fundación Infantil Semilla, local foundation, additionally donating another 30 kits to Fundación Levántate Durán. The second deed most supports SDG 13, climate change. The description is that we were about 6 people and we made a school project about not bringing plastic to school on Mondays. So we went talking to every class about this, and now it is forbidden to bring plastic on Mondays. The third deed most supports SDG 3 again, which is good health and well-being. The description of the deed is that I played 3 hours of field hockey, the equivalent of 2 full matches for a competition with my senior teams. And there are about 60 of us, but only 25 of us could play. I then had a session with the junior/coach of the mini team a couple hours later. There are about 70 of us, and the session was an hour and a half long. And the final deed that we want to show you supports SDG 11. And it just says that my deed was participating in the construction of roofs on February 1st, 2020 for those who need them in a rural area of Egypt called Fayum. Around 12 people were volunteering to construct 25 roofs. So now that I've explained why you should participate, how can you take part? So step 1 is to download the toolkit from the 100K Deeds website, which is 100kdeeds.org. Step 2 is to submit your deed. Step 3, register for the challenge here and join our mailing list to get regular updates. Step 4, see your deeds appear on a global map. And here is a visualization of what our deed card looks like. The 100K Deeds challenge, the 10K Deeds challenge used a deed card similar to this, and we wanted to keep up the tradition of physically writing your deed down and sharing your deed card with others. We encourage you to take pictures of your deed card and post it to social media and tag us at Deeds for the SDGs. When you're uploading your deed through our ESRI map, you can also add a picture of your deed card. So how can you help spread this challenge? So as a student, you can perform deeds and let your friends, neighbors, and fellow school or college mates know. As a parent, teacher, or organization member, you can share the campaign on school or college groups and let it reach as many students as possible. Encourage your children or students to perform deeds and share deeds that your organization has completed. And you can also join our leadership team. Our team is currently accepting applications to join our leadership team. There are many different roles like being part of an outreach region team, translation team, press team, social media, and so much more. We highly encourage any interested students to apply to be a part of our team. We have such an amazing and supportive team, and I promise you that it will be a fun and interesting experience. Once you apply, you will be notified within a week whether you've made it to our next stage of the process, the interview. If you make it onto this team, this will be a commitment until this upcoming January, where you will have the option to reapply to our leadership team, as we will be reforming our team then. So I'll now introduce the 2 initiatives that we have for 100K Deeds during this Global Week of Action, Deeds Bingo and Deeds Marathon. So the aims of the initiatives. The 100K Deeds Challenges, Deed Bingo, and Deed Marathon are movements that unite deed leaders from around the world on a mission to aid the United Nations in achieving all 17 SDGs by 2030. Through deeds of our own, whether small or large, we have the capacity to collectively create massive impact. The date of these deeds will be running from the 3rd to the 11th of December. Starting with the SDG 10 Deeds Bingo. A 5x5 bingo grid will be shared with all participants filled with deeds related to SDG 10 and SDG 10.2, the focus of this Global Week of Action. As participants complete each deed, they will have to submit it on the 100K Deeds website. The 5x5 grid will also be shared on the 100K Deeds Instagram page, and the aim is to complete as many of the deeds as possible from the 3rd to the 11th of December. Now with the Deeds Marathon, you'll have to submit a target deed every day to compete in the GWOA 100K Marathon. You can win 5 points for completion and submission of a set deed, which will be announced through social media, and you can win 3 points for completion and submission of any deed relating to SDG 10. The participant with the most points will win an award. So how do you submit deeds? You can go to our website, www.100kdeeds.org, and click on the Submit Your Deed button. You can download the full toolkit from here in order to take help of some deed suggestions collated by our team. You can click on the Upload the Deed button, create an account if you don't have one, and continue filling out the form. In the deeds description, please fill out the region you are submitting this from so we can keep track of the teams. Uploading of photos and videos are mandatory, and if you need to include the timestamp on the photos, or in the description of the deed. Are there any questions? And also you can contact us at these on these platforms.
Thank you, Haiti. Once again, if you guys have any questions, just say so. And if you're shy, please write them in the chat just so that we can answer any questions you have right now.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but Ritabile. I'm sorry if that's not how you pronounce it, but you have your hand raised. You can ask your question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay. I just completed high school, so I'm still at home for the holidays, especially now that it's December. So I saw that you said that the competition or the 100K deeds will be joined by students in high school or varsity. So can I still participate even though I am starting college in February?
Yes, the 100K Deeds challenge is open to college students as well.
Okay, thank you.
All the necessary links are provided in the chat box. So you can feel free to visit the 100K Deeds website, that is 100kdeeds.org, to gain more information and to apply to be a member of the team.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for that question. Any other questions? Feel free to go ahead.
Okay, since there seems to be no more questions, I want to thank everybody for attending our opening ceremony. I would also like to let you guys know that there is an open forum session with a bunch of brilliant panelists that is going to be held after this session. So if you have not registered for that, please register. And if you have, we will see you then. Once again, thank you, Mr. Bilal, for speaking and inspiring us. And thank you, Haiti, for explaining the 100K Deeds challenge to us. We invite you to join all the other initiatives for this Global Week of Action, and I hope everybody had a great time.
Also, before we leave, we'd like to take a group photograph. So could everyone turn on their cameras if it's possible? I'll quickly turn on mine. All those who can, please turn on your cameras. Ryan, Divyansha, Ratawal, I'm sorry, I'm very bad at pronouncing names. All the links are in the chat box, so you can look at them once again. And thank you so much for joining today's session. We have officially begun our Glow Week of Action December round. And for those of you who have registered for the open forum with three amazing panelists, one of whom is Mr. Bilal, we will be seeing you in almost 20 minutes. So I'll be taking a quick picture. So if all of you could smile, show us your smiles, and maybe say cheese, that'll be great. I'll be doing a countdown. So 3, 2, 1. That's great. I thank you so much, everyone, and see you soon in our open forum. Thank you for joining, everyone. Thank you.